What if the very thing you keep pushing to the side, your creativity, your voice, your passion, is actually the key to unlocking your next level as a mompreneur? We'll talk about it more when we return. Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Making of a Mompreneur Show. I am your host, Rasheeda Green. I am the founder and CEO of Get Coaching, the host of this wonderful Mompreneur HQ community, and the creator of the Digimompreneur Academy, where we help moms who are determined to find time, money, and location freedom to start, grow, and scale their online business so that they can build the life of their dreams without neglecting themselves or their families in the process. And we do that through coaching, content, community, and the Digimompreneur Academy. If you are joining us live today, make sure you put hashtag live in the comments below. And if you're watching the replay, we still love you. Go ahead and put hashtag replay so that we know that you watched the replay with us. Also, tell us where you are tuning in from so that we know the wide reach that we have in the Mompreneur HQ community. And as always, if you don't already have your pen, paper, or digital device ready and at hand, go ahead and get that now. Go right ahead because we're going to have some a nice topic to help you through the gray space of life. Let me see. Was there anything else? Yes, of course. Go ahead and subscribe wherever, depending on where you are, follow wherever you are watching us from. Make sure you go ahead and do all of those things so that you can get notified when we have our next episode drop. All right. If you've ever found yourself in that gray space of life, uncertain of where to turn, today's guest is here to light the way. Joining us is the incredibly talented Levada H, a creative force with a heart for helping women navigate life's twists and turns. And with over 14 years in HR experience and a wealth of creative passion, Lavonda is not just an HR professional. She's a mentor, a writer, a lover of the arts, and a firm believer in living boldly and unapologetically. From poetry contests at the age of 6 to hosting her own podcast, Lavonda uses her gifts to empower women to align their passion with purpose. As a mom, a creator, and a businesswoman, she'll share her journey and how she's using her voice and creativity to help others do the same. Let's welcome to the show none other than Levada H.
Hi,
Hey, Lavonda.
how are you?
I am great. Thank you so much for joining us here at the Mompreneur HQ. You've been a member and you've also been a client. But I'm so glad to have you on now as a show guest to
Thank you.
share with us all of your awesomeness, and particularly you are an author. And so we would love to hear about your new book as well. And that's where we got the topic of passion, purpose, and the power of creative expression, navigating life's gray space, because you have a unique way of talking about that gray space with your new book. Tell us about it.
So, the new book is called Journey of a Teardrop. It's poetic expressions of life, healing, and survival because we all cry for something. It can be, that we're happy, it can be that we're sad, it can be that we're concerned, but the journey of a teardrop can take us so many different places, just like our lives, which takes us through lots of different cycles. And so being in that journey is something that people need to know how to navigate. Now, let me just say, I am not the guru. These are just my life experiences written on paper. Writing was something that was a creative outlet for me when I was going through a lot of the things that I went through. And so I just try to encourage women specifically, but other people, that there is something on the other side of all of that dark matter. So that's basically what the book is about. It is a compilation of poems that I've written for years, probably at least 15 years worth of poetry. And when I say that, not just the book itself, writing different little things and piecing it together. And some of it is other people's experiences, things that I've seen, things that people have brought to me. Of course, no names are named, but just different facets of our lives. And that's the journey of the teardrop. It was something that's always been in my mind. I had a vision of what the book would look like, what it would sound like, what the title was. And I was one of those people that I wrote for fun, or I wrote for family members, or I wrote for friends. And it was just time to just put it out there so we can start to see some healing happening.
Awesome. I like that very last sentence. It's time to put it out there so we can see some healing happen. And that is so powerful because we talk about the graveyard being the richest place, right? There's
Yeah,
so many books, so many thoughts, so many patents, all this stuff that could have really helped other people are
right.
now in the grave because someone kept it to themselves and didn't share and didn't give themselves the opportunity to heal, or they didn't give others the opportunity to witness the unfolding of that thing, whatever that book was, whatever that business was. Yeah, I thank you for sharing that
Yeah.
and letting us know that sometimes we just got to move on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Miss Lavonda, as a mom and an entrepreneur, how do you manage to balance your creative passions with the demands of your family life and, of course, business?
I will say that balancing is a strong word because I would say juggle, because balancing means that everything is kind of on the same level, but you're always, not just as a mom, as a person, you're always going to have, I think, different balls in the air. And so as a mom, it helps to get organized. There's a couple of things that I would do. I have a daughter that's creative. She pushes me when she's doing her stuff. She's, Mom, you can do this as well. The very first thing though that I would say is to find that confidence in yourself before you can get any type of balance. So finding out who you are, what you want to do, whether it's creatively or just getting things out. Being a mom is a very busy job. So finding that confidence in yourself and letting yourself, giving yourself permission really to really do it. The second thing I would say is have a really strong village. I had people around me, whether I was going through something or not, that were just ready there to push me and let me know that, hey, the graveyard is the richest place, and we want you to get your flowers while you're here, as well as give them to others while they're still here. I would say juggling, not balancing, because I feel like if we stop learning, we stop growing. And so as moms and as people, we should always try to strive to continue to learn. And so we have to learn how to juggle those different balls. But time management is something that I used to struggle a lot with, still just a tinge these days. But I had a wonderful business coach who kept me on the ball. I like to make to-do lists. I have to have that in my life, in my professional life, in my personal life. I'm now into calendars. So I have digital calendars, paper calendars, wall calendars, just because I'm a visual person, so I have to
Mhm.
see things in several different places. So it's just all about, that's why I started with the confidence and kind of knowing who you are, is figuring out who you are and how you operate, what makes you tick, and then putting that to flight to be able to do your business or start your business.
Love it, love it. And I definitely like how you said juggling because so many balls are in the air. I usually say harmony.
Yeah, I love that
No,
too.
we're singers though. I usually say harmony because
Yeah,
they meld together, right?
that's right.
Because it's not that my business is more important or my family
That's
is more
right.
important, though my family is important. When it comes to managing your time and trying to find that balance, so to speak, it shouldn't necessarily be that it has to be a give and take, but more of
Right.
a harmony that all of those things should
Yes,
work together. Because for me, I'm building a legacy for my family.
absolutely.
So that working and that doing those late nights are to benefit us all. And so
Mhm.
if we can get it where everybody's on the same page and all things are starting to intertwine and work well together, that's where you have that work life harmony
Yeah,
versus balance.
I
I
love that.
totally love it. Totally get it. Now, we talked about this gray space, and you've mentioned helping women navigate that. Can you share what that means and how mom entrepreneurs can really apply this concept to their business?
Yeah, absolutely. So the gray space comes from things that I've experienced in my podcast, which I put to the side to produce the book. But the podcast was called The In Between because I found that in my experiences, people celebrate the beginning. It's a joyous occasion, whether it's a new job, a new shirt, a new relationship. And they celebrate the end. I won't say celebrate, but they acknowledge the end. So if they're done with a relationship, or if they're moving to a new job, or they're transitioning, But nobody really talks about that in between stage, which I call the gray space, the muddy waters, when you're trying to figure out, am I going forward or am I going backwards? Am I going sideways? And so I came up with that term based on my own life and my experience, because I was stuck in a place which geared me towards writing the book or producing the book. I was stuck in this space that I didn't really recognize. Not just the space not recognizable, but myself not recognizable. And so I had to come to grips with the fact that I was in a holding pattern. I didn't want to succeed, but I didn't want to fail. So when you get in that middle part and you find yourself in that gray space, there has to be a way to show you that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And like I said, things like having a village, a good business coach around you, or just good friends that can push you and remind you who you are. One of the things that made me defined, and I'll say one because there was several, define what that was, is I'll never forget going through my relationship, and a really good friend that was close to me decided to step back because they couldn't watch everything that was going on. And so it left me, because we were really good friends, it left me discombobulated. What do I do now? That's where I found out that there was some codependency going on. I had lost who I was. The passions that I used to have were put to the side. And so I went through a real period of self-discovery. And so once I started to transition out of, that's why I just called it the gray space, because I said I felt gray, I felt undefined, and it just was really just muddy waters where there was nothing growing and nothing living in that space. So that's where that term came from.
Wow, that's deep. Thank you for sharing that and
Yeah.
having that vulnerability. And so you mentioned that there were a couple of things that within the gray space. How did you navigate getting out of the gray space?
Once again, I talk a lot about, you'll hear a lot about my village, having those people around me that just was unconditionally loving me, reminding me that not only do they love me, but I'm a believer that Christ loves me, getting back to who I was. And when I say reminding me, I'm literal things like, I had one friend do a workshop with mirrors, and I literally had to look at myself and see the person that I had become, and then figure out the person that I used to be. And then I had to marry those two to figure out the person that I want to be.
Mm,
So I have really strong friends. Most of them are mompreneurs, but it just made me look at myself. I would say self discovery is
mm.
one of the biggest things. It's humbling, but it is something that I think that it just automatically propels you forward, whether you're ready for it or not. So everything that has come to pass now and that I'm accomplishing is something that I never thought that I would do or even really wanted to do, but it's necessary.
Oh, yes, that was good. Thank you. I'm sure that we have some mompreneurs who can relate to the gray space and I like that term self-discovery and really being able to identify themselves through self-discovery because a lot of time the challenge of becoming a mother and those initial once you actually have the baby because leading up to the baby, oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Yes,
But once you
exactly.
actually have the baby, it's oh my gosh.
Different. Yeah.
And then you're thrown into this baby schedule. It's no longer
Right.
my schedule. It's this baby schedule and sleep deprivation. And nobody wants to call or check on you no more. It's like, how's the baby?
How's the baby?
It's 2 months yet?
Right.
Look, they're
Right.
counting down every single month
Yeah.
and checking up on the baby and how the baby's developing. And sometimes you start to feel as a mom left out of the whole equation.
Right.
I'm just here to serve this child, and I have
Right.
nobody's really worried about what
Right.
I'm doing, how I'm feeling, what's going on with me, and whether or not I do get those naps in between the baby's naps. And so the loss of self identity is
Yeah.
very prevalent with new mothers. Having those type of real life conversations with yourself, whether it be a friend sharing a mirror or you literally taking a mirror yourself
Yeah.
or going into the bathroom, shutting the door, making sure the baby's down,
Yeah.
and then still just going in that mirror for yourself
Yeah.
and reflecting on yourself and where you are and your thoughts and how are you feeling and make sure that you're reconnecting with yourself so that you
Right.
don't go so far or stray so far where you're in this gray area and you feel like you can't get out.
Absolutely.
That was awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. And
Yeah.
you have a background in HR. We know that. And we mentioned that you have a business already. Could you tell us about your career coaching and how you came to do that?
Yeah, so the career coaching was passion and purpose. I just always have done things for people. I came up in a household where helping, my mom always said, if you have something to give, if you have enough to give, then you have something to give. And so whatever it is, that's not just monetary, your gifts, your talents, your advice, your shoulder for someone to cry on. And so with passion and purpose, I used to do resumes for free, like just friends and family members that needed things to do. And someone said, you're missing out on being a business owner, being an entrepreneur, because you can really do this as a business. And I was just, my heart was for the people, to serve the people and not for the gain. And so one day I just started, a friend, person in the village. I think this was right before COVID. This was about maybe 2 years before COVID, and I was really going through some things. The friend and I were actually going through similar things. And so we were sitting in her house and she was just like, hey, and she named it and she told me passion and purpose. I had actually helped her with her resume, and passion and purpose, she came up with that name because she said, what is it that you find yourself wanting to do? Maybe not 24/7, but 8 hours a day. And I said, I really have a passion for helping people find their purpose. And she said, oh, that's it, passion and purpose. And so that's how she came up with the name of it. But the coaching business really started out as just helping people. I helped my nephew write college essays, children that needed to know how to do resumes, or just any little thing to get that out. The problem was I had a fire inside of me and I didn't know how to get that out aside from just the people that were close to me. And my recommendation to mompreneurs is, if you feel that burning sensation, you feel that fire inside of you, try to find a way to get that out. You need outlets for that. And not only do you need it, there's people out there waiting for what you have to offer. So that's how I came up with passion and purpose. And that the business really grew into coaching because I found that a lot of people who were looking for professional advice, their personal lives affected their professional. I had a client one time who, she had every degree that you could possibly have, not to mention she wanted to go back and get her doctorates, but then she had a husband that was in nursing school. And so she wanted to figure out, how do I get to this next level in my career while we're worrying about what's going on over here? And so we just had to bring it in, and I just had to remind her, like, your passion will help you fulfill your purpose. And she said, wow, that's profound. How did you come up with that? I said, my life. And most of the things that I produce or talk about is a direct result of my life experiences. I used to be really a private person, but I find that you cannot have a testimony without having a test. And if you don't have a test and you don't have a testimony, no one can know how great God is, or how you can get back up and dust yourself off, or how you can start over again. No one will be able to benefit from that information if you don't move forward. So that's how passion and purpose career coaching came about. And who knows, it may even move into, I don't know, personal coaching, life coaching. I just like being able to use my experiences to guide people that are going through things. And so just to let them know, once again, that you can make it out. There's something on the other side.
And that is wonderful, because coaching, it can be very rewarding, especially when you have clients who you can help get to that next level. And with coaching, every experience is unique, right? It's whatever it is that you have inside
Right.
of you that you can share and help them work through. So that is awesome that you have that passion for purpose.
Yeah.
And I love that you were able to share that and encourage people to let that passion that you have drive you, and not necessarily drive you off a cliff, but
Right.
able to take that and use it for purpose. And so thank you again for that response.
Yeah.
And we talked about your career, we talked about the book, and now we want to talk about your background in poetry and the arts. How
Yes.
have these creative outlets that you have shaped your entrepreneurial journey, and how can other moms tap into their own creativity and business growth?
My creative background is what I call my kind of my saving grace. Jesus is my savior, but my saving grace, because if I didn't have these different outlets, I don't know where I would be.
Mm.
Probably all of the things that are out now would be still bottled up inside of me. And I've always been a creative person. I've always been a lover of the arts, from theater. I used to act. I had a television show when I was in high school. Like, it was always me talking and being able to guide people, but in an artsy way. And so the arts and my passion for that allowed me that outlet, not just creatively, but emotionally, to get those things out. But once I saw the effect that it had on other people, you remember, that's really who I am. I have a servant's heart. So I said, oh, not only am I helping myself, but other people said that they're benefiting from this. I see people coming back and saying, oh, the song you sang was administered to me, or oh, the poem you wrote, it really helped me through this. And that's when I just realized and woke up and said, hey, your gifts will make room for you. And you have to be able to let those things out so that you can help someone else. As a mompreneur, I would just say, someone told me while we were sitting in their garage during COVID, let's just do it. Do it afraid, do it scared, do it fearfully, but just do it. Even if it's just one baby step. And I remember that day taking one baby step, which turned into about 4 years of cultivating my book. But just do it. I always say that you can't be in third grade and be 17 years old. So you have to continue to grow and you have to continue to learn. And through that journey, you'll find that, yes, you need it, but there are so many people out there that need it more. So if you have an idea, if you have a business idea, if you have a book idea or something within you, or you want to start a group home, you just need to just get it out there. I can promise you, my business coach will tell you that my stuff was not all together at the beginning. Okay. So get yourself a good business coach, get yourself a good village, find yourself a mentor. Definitely get into networking, find different avenues and networks that do the same things that you want to do. So just breaking down that barrier between yourself versus yourself, and then just letting go and doing it.
I like that. Breaking down the barriers of yourself versus yourself, because
Yes.
that's usually what's holding us back, right? Our
Absolutely.
own thoughts. We're hostage to our
Yes.
own thoughts and limitations.
Yeah,
And one last question. So you finally wrote the book.
I
It
did.
is out there and people are being touched and experiencing Journey of a Teardrop. Can you tell us how your book has opened up any doors for you in your business or just in general?
So just getting the book out opened up doors for me as far as my heart, my healing, my confidence level. I can tell you that my business coach, and if she will allow me to mention her, I would love to. My business coach, Rasheeda Green, I remember when we were actually putting the book into production, and I said, pause, wait 1 minute, because I got emotional, because it really hit me that this is the release that your spirit has been waiting for. And I tried to fight it for so many years. Like, I don't want people to know. And I'm just really guarded. But I could feel that this was the release. And the reason why I said that is because it's not only the release of emotions, but it was the release of that other side that I talk about. I won't say success because everybody defines success differently. But if you want to call it success, it's right there. It's right there. And for me, success is having people actually read it and gain something from it. I've had book signings in different places. I recently visited a bookstore in Charlotte, and it was so moving just having the people come to my table. I tell them what it's about, and then just like buying it on the spot and just having some of the conversations and hearing some of the stories. I have a communications kind of broadcast journalism background, so I've always loved to hear people's stories. But that event was a little bit life altering because these people didn't know me. I had the signings with the friends and the family members, but they didn't know me. They just knew my story or heard my story and allowed me to absorb theirs as well. And so having complete strangers tell you that something has touched their lives or
Mhm.
changed them. I had a young lady that made a different decision based on just flipping through the book. And so things like that is what it's all about to me. So that was the reason why the book came to pass or came to fruition, and it's here. I'm excited about it. So those are some of the doors that it's opened up. But more importantly, it seems like it's opening hearts, which is my goal. Some of the people that came by the table, I said, if you don't purchase today, that's fine. I just want somebody to know about the book for healing. And so that's what it's all about for me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing your book with us and
Yes.
opening your heart so that we could open up ours. So we talked about Journey of a Teardrop. Can you tell us where can we find this book?
You can find this book on Amazon, amazon.com. You can look on my website, lavondah.com. And so if you want to contact me directly, you can do that as well. But just pick up the book. And like I said, like I always say, if you don't purchase the book, just tell somebody about it that you think may benefit from it.
Awesome, awesome. And before we wrap up, oh gosh, oh my gosh, why don't you all just put in some hearts or something in the comments below so that we know that you enjoyed hearing Lavonda H's story and about her book and her career pathing. Did I see a finger, the church finger?
I did. I did. I wanted to mention to your listeners really quickly because I forgot this part. If you want to comment in any of the sections below about your journey or your beginning, your middle, or your end, but using the word journeys, the first person to comment will receive a free author signed book from myself.
Oh, y'all better go ahead and respond in those comments, y'all. She is giving out a free signed copy of the book. So come
Yes.
on, y'all better comment below and make sure you
Yes.
use keyword journey.
Journey.
All right. So, Lavonda, before we get out of here, we usually like to ask three quick questions,
Sure.
nothing too hard, right?
Okay.
So that our audience can get a chance to know you a little better. What are you ready for those three questions?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Creative writing or career coaching? Which lights you up more in this season?
Creative writing.
Creative writing. Go figure. Dancing in the living room with your kids or quiet time with a journal and a cup of tea? How do you recharge as a mompreneur?
Gotta be dancing with that baby.
Because she's a dancer.
She
Uh,
is.
and our last question, passion projects or purpose driven planning? Which one gets you moving when you're feeling stuck?
This is the opportunity to tell you that I cannot choose because I always mesh the two. Remember, your passion helps you fulfill your purpose.
Absolutely. I love it how you tied it in. And that's all of our questions for our special guest, Miss Lavonda H, as we talked about passion, purpose, and the power of creative expressions, navigating life's gray space with our special guest, Lavonda H. And thank you all for joining us. Please make sure you put some comments in the below. You got some homework, hashtag us, give us your story, share with us your journey, whether the beginning, the middle, or the end. Put journey in the comments, somewhere in the comment. And if you're the first one, you'll get a free copy of Journey of a Teardrop from my client, Miss Lavonda H.
Yes.
All right, ladies of the community, until next time.